Spicy seafood pasta. Come on down. So in this hot skillet, I have a tablespoon of butter. I just put in a quarter cup of chopped onion, one stalk of celery finely chopped, and then 2 cloves of garlic finely chopped. And we're going to stir this around and we're going to keep it moving because we don't want this to get any burnt flavors from the garlic or the onion. And the pan is smoking hot. I'm also going to add about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. It's not Italian without EVOO, right? So we're going to get this going. And we're not going to cook it till it's translucent. We're just going to cook it until it starts to soften up a bit. Then we're going to add a tablespoon and a half of tomato paste. Tomato paste makes this dish, just gives it that earthy, rich flavor that you'll want. And we're going to stir it around until it starts to break down and combines with all the rest of the ingredients. Now we're going to add a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, the kind that you put on pizza. And we're going to let that heat up and release its oils. And this is what makes the tomato sauce angry or spicy. So it's like arrabbiata or something like that in Italian. I don't know. I don't speak Italian fluently. But that's what we're going to do here anyway. So it makes it good and spicy. One thing I do speak in Italian is vino, wine. So we're going to add about a full cup of wine. And we're going to cook this around long enough for that alcohol to evaporate out and leave all that great wine flavor. Today I'm using a white wine called a Chardonnay. And you can see that combined with that tomato paste, it really did help it move about that pan and make it all good. Now we're going to add 1 can of diced tomatoes with the juice and a jar of clam juice. It is seafood pasta after all. It's all about flavor building. So now I'm going to take my wooden slotted spoon here and stir it around. And those bigger chunks of tomatoes, I'm going to try and mash with the back of the spoon. So just stir it around, give it a little mash-a-do. And it's going to help the tomatoes break down. This is a very simple sauce, but it's full of flavor. Now I'm going to add my clams. And we're going to cover it up. And we're going to stir them around, cover it up, and cook them for about 3 minutes. This is part of the flavor building thing. So with those shells and everything, they're going to release all that seawater that they had in there. And that's just one more step to the flavor building that we're trying to do here. We are making this scrump dilly freakinicious. That's all I know to tell you. So using tongs, I'm going to take out all of the shells. And I'm going to make sure if I find any that did not open and just discard them completely. Just throw them in the trash, throw them on the dung heap. They are of no good to us. So when I get away from the scene here, I'm also going to remove all the meat or the clam meat from the shells. And I'm going to add it to the rest of the seafood that we have getting ready to go in here. Look at that sauce going. It looks so good. So you see I added the clams. I added a 1/4 pound of raw shrimp that is deveined and peeled. And a 1/4 pound of bay scallops. You can use big old sea scallops if you like. That just means you got money. So the sea scallops are smaller and they're very good and flavorful. So I'm going to stir that around, throw a lid on it for about 3.5, 4 minutes. That's all it takes because you know the shrimp cooks super fast. We're going to give it a stir. Look at that. Bueno. Bonissimo. So I've been cooking spaghetti in a pot next to this. And the directions said 12 minutes. So I cooked it for 9 minutes. Because the last 3 minutes, you want it super al dente. And what you're going to do the last 3 minutes, it's going to cook in this sauce. And because it's not fully cooked, it's going to absorb all those wonderful flavors in this sauce. And we're done. We're going to cook this for about 3 minutes. And if it looks like it's getting too dry, like the pasta's absorbing too much like a sponge, just add some water from the pasta bowl. The pasta pot. It's salty water anyway. Here, I just added some dehydrated parsley, and now I'm adding about a good 1/3 of a cup of freshly grated, at the store, freshly grated, Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. And once we give this a stir, we're ready to serve it up. Now, as I'm looking at it, though, I'm thinking, I need a bit more sauce. After all, I do have some French bread, a baguette of French bread that we're going to use to sop up any sauce. So I'm going to add some of that water from the pasta pot. This recipe is so good and easy. If you're looking for something easy and you want to impress your friends, consider subscribing to the channel. I make it easy for you. You can eat from all over the world. And you saw this recipe. There wasn't a thing hard to do in it. So now that I added that water and stirred it around a little bit, let's plate this baby up. Here's what it looks like. Can't wait. Booyah, bonissimo. Look at that. Bread, pasta, seafood, and this is what happens. Once you start, this is what your plate's going to look like. Have a good one. Ciao.